My name is D. Hutchins. I'm located in Hodgenville, Kentucky. I've been using Zija Nutrition now for almost 7 years. My wife, my children, and I. I've been sharing information, building a business inside Zija International for about 6.5 years. I was introduced to this back in 2008 by a former student who was a chiropractor in Atlanta, Georgia. His words to me were, if you review this information on this nutrition, I promise you, you want your family to use it. I was quite convinced I was taking very good care of myself. I wasn't really that interested in looking. But needless to say, once I started the process of checking in or reviewing this information, it was a very eye-opening experience, not because there was something magical about the product or the nutrition. It was simply I'd forgotten what a good diet of food and what a good diet really was all about. Zija has created several products over the past several years. The company launched in 2005, and for about 3.5 years, they had one product. It was simply nutrition, which is the main thing that they've created that people really need. But over the years, they've created some other products that are all at the top of the food chain. They're very good products, and I will touch briefly on each of these. This gentleman is the founder of Zija. After watching a Discovery Channel documentary called The Miracle Tree, which showed this tree reversing malnutrition in Africa, just the leaves of the tree, he developed an idea of delivering this to us as a food. Drug companies had tried for years to deliver the tree by making drugs, trying to extract the anti-inflammatories, the antioxidants from the tree, and they were unsuccessful. And so no one was really doing anything with it on a big scale, and so he decided to invest millions of dollars into having it formulated into a food. There was not a guarantee, not even close, that this could actually be accomplished. The goal was to deliver it as a food where it's enzymatically alive and people can extract from it or get from it what the tree fully offers. And so this was accomplished at the end of 2005. This is the executive team, and kind of the mantra of the company is life unlimited, and these folks are all very genuine folks, and not only do they talk the talk, they walk the walk as far as leading balanced lives. Dr. Joshua Plant, the name is a little ironic, but he actually came to Zija a little over 3 years ago and actually recruited Zija. And a lot of companies will go out and they'll get someone with a PhD or a lab coat to stand up and say, "Hey, this is good stuff." That's not what we did. He came to Zija because we were the first company to ever market moringa to the world. And when he was at Harvard, he did work with cellular growth metabolism. He worked with the tree, and he went looking for a company that was doing work with moringa and found Zija. As you can see at the top of the screen here, he graduated from Harvard Medical School first in his class, a 7-year program. Really, it's a 7 to 8 year program in 3.5 years. That's with a wife and 2 children. And he was being recruited by anybody that's everybody in the world. And so, having him has been a great resource. And with him, we had because of his background and the things he did when he was at Harvard, that's how we were able to develop the Ameo essential oil line. I got involved with Zija strictly because I was attracted to the nutrition. I understood the value of nutrition. I had to be reminded of that, but once I figured out what was going on with it, I knew that I wanted to use it. On this page are several things, but I'm going to help zero in on the main thing. Right in the middle of the page is something that looks like a little white box. It says Smart Mix. Smart Mix is the original nutritional. It's still around because we were in several foreign countries under that name, so we've kept the name Smart Mix. The box to the left is Super Mix. Super Mix is was a formulation about 3 years old that is the same as Smart Mix, only it has more moringa in it. So they formulated it and added more of the nutrition, more of the tree. You might say, well, why is Smart Mix still around? Well, they added more moringa to it as well, but they also added a prebiotic, which feeds the good bacteria or the flora in your gut. And so you have a choice there. They cost the same. Smart Mix has plenty of moringa for an average size adult, and Super Mix has more moringa for the money. I use Super Mix every day, and my children are 17 and 15 now. They do a half a packet of Super Mix every day, and that's our regimen for my children and I. Now, on the far left, XM Plus, it's categorized as an energy drink, but it really is nutrition. It has the same amount of moringa as Super Mix. It has some other natural ingredients to give you a sustained energy lift. It has ginseng and garlic, desert and green tea, some natural plant-based caffeine, and some pure cane sugar. XM Plus is the most popular of the three, and I think mainly due to the energy component. So the nutritionals, Smart Mix, Super Mix, XM Plus, these are the main things. My wife uses XM Plus every day. XM Plus has been a great transitional piece for people who are trying to wean themselves off of, caffeinated drinks, energy drinks. But if you have somebody that's obviously caffeine sensitive, then the out is always Super or Smart Mix. There are a lot of people that are still using Smart Mix, and there are a lot of people that like Smart Mix because of the prebiotic. In the back, the purple and gray bag in the back here is Prime 90. The name of that recently changed to XM Protein, and XM Protein was designed for high-level athletes to deliver 20 grams of absorbable protein post-workout. A lot of people will use it as a meal replacement. Now back to the nutritionals. These nutritionals, Smart Mix, Super Mix, XM Plus, they're not a meal replacement. They're delivering the leaves and the seeds and the fruit of the most nutrient-rich plant on earth as a raw, organic, whole food. So according to the National Institutes of Health, the tree sustains life. So when you consume these, you're not having to go out and eat to gain nutrition. You've got what you need, but it doesn't give you a high caloric intake, so it's not going to make you feel full all day, but it will satiate you. People that are using the Prime 90, or what we refer to now as XM Protein, some people are using it as a meal replacement because it does provide some caloric intake. But again, it was designed mainly for athletes to deliver more protein, exactly 20 grams of absorbable protein post-workout. It's a very good product as far as when you compare it to other things on the market. There's no soy. There's nothing artificial in any of our products. It's gluten-free, but it has moringa in it. Besides having raw whole whey protein from Wisconsin is a big part of the whey, very expensive whey. It has moringa, which means it has a nutritional catalyst. A lot of people don't understand without a nutritional catalyst, the protein is not effective or very effective at all. So if you're taking in whey protein, but you're not eating a good diet with it, you're wasting your money. So that's an excellent product. Down below that, there's 3 boxes: XM Burn, XM AM, and XM PM. XM AM is the original. These are all capsules. What do they do? In a macro statement, they burn adipose tissue, which is a polite way of saying they burn fat, and they suppress your appetite. Why are there 3? XM AM was the original one. It's also a thermogenic. A lot of athletes use it. Because it had some stimulants in it, XM PM was created with nothing stimulative in it. For people that could take it with beta blockers or they were on antidepressants, were told probably not to use XM AM. So that gave people a choice with PM. A lot of people that were using the AM as a thermogenic, they weren't getting the kick that they liked. A lot of people that use thermogenics, they have things in them that give them a kick, sort of like a pre-workout feel. So XM Burn was created. And again, it's very similar to AM, only it has a little bit more of a kick to it. Again, these are to burn fat and suppress your appetite. In between XM Plus and the Super Mix boxes, you have 2 tea containers. The bottom one is a daily tea. It's meant to be sipped on before meals to suppress your appetite. The one above it is the one that is very effective as far as helping with weight balance, and that's a premium tea, or what we refer to as a detox tea. The detox tea cleans out your liver, your kidneys, and your digestive tract, which is detoxing is a big part of weight balance. that's a very inexpensive and a very effective product. While we're on the nutritionals, I love reminding people, which I need to be reminded of myself, about how to take care of my body. And these things aren't debatable, but let me remind them too. You have to hydrate every day. And the Mayo Clinic recommends 9 to 13 cups of water a day. You have to sleep 7 hours minimum as an adult. You need to exercise regularly, and you need to eat nutritiously every day. Those 4 things have to be done consistently to get the most out of the body that God gave you. Now, if you think about it for a moment, a lot of people are struggling. I know this. I'm around a lot of adults. A lot of people are struggling with sleeping correctly, hydrating correctly, and some are even struggling with exercise. Those things are basically free. Nutrition, folks, is very expensive. To go out and ascertain the nutrition that your body needs on a daily basis, it's a real effort. It's very expensive. And in the area that I live in here in Kentucky, in a rural area, many people can't afford it, period. That's why these nutritionals are such a blessing, because for a way less money, you can ascertain the nutrition that you need. It's also way more convenient to use. So the nutritionals that are sitting here are a very big deal. And as far as people taking care of themselves, unfortunately, the things that I mentioned require discipline to do and make ourselves do. And I'll use sleep as an example. A lot of people will come up and they'll say, well, I'm getting by on 5 or 6 hours of sleep. And, I just tell them politely that, look, no, you're really not. Just do your research. It's a detriment to your health. You might not notice it right now, but you got problems coming earlier than you need to because you're not giving your body enough sleep. Dr. Oz was interviewed a few months back, and he was asked if you give human beings one piece of advice for their health, what would it be? And he said, sleep correctly. Then they asked him, what would be the second piece of advice? He said, water. So it's not complicated stuff. It's just that a lot of people are not either knowledgeable or they're not taking care of themselves like they need to. When Mr. Brailsford viewed the documentary from the Discovery Channel called The Miracle Tree, this is what he saw the tree delivered. 46 antioxidants, 36 anti-inflammatories. Right at 80% of disease, all disease in the body is a direct result of inflammation. So those anti-inflammatories are a big, big deal. Those antioxidants are also a big deal because almost the remaining 20% is oxidation as it relates to disease in the body. So as far as anti-inflammatories, a lot of people say, well, my ankle's swollen, my knee's swollen. There's a lot of inflammation in the body you're not going to be able to touch and feel. So putting those in naturally is a big deal for your overall wellness. It has all the omegas, 3, 6, and 9. The ratio of omega-3 to 6 is what it should be. Right now, the standard American diet, I've read that the ratios of omega-6s to omega-3s in the standard American diet is anywhere from 12 to 1 all the way up to 20 to 1. Why is that a bad thing? Well, omega-6s are inflammatory. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. So this is ratioed correctly. It has all the amino acids, including the non-essential that our bodies don't produce. You have to get from outside sources. Many of you on this webinar, if you're not using Zija Nutrition, you have no idea if you're getting all non-essential amino acids on a regular basis or not. You hope you are. I hope you are. But my wife and children and I walk out the door every day with our non-essential ratioed correctly and absorbed into our bodies. This starts a chain reaction as it builds up proteins, really hundreds of things happening in our bodies physically that we're not going to notice, but lead to optimal health. Again, the tree sustains life. Moringa is the most studied plant in Western pharmacopoeia. Why is that? Well, because as I mentioned earlier, drug companies have tried for years to extract things from it, so they put millions of dollars into researching it. If you want to research and read about moringa, go to pubmed.gov. You can read for the next several months all the studies. It also breaks down specific issues of the body that moringa has been used to impact. It's mentioned in Greek history, Roman history, Indian history. It's been around for thousands of years. one of the reasons that no one was doing anything with it from a food standpoint is because the leaves, which are shown here pictured, and also the seeds, which are shown pictured here, they stink. They're very pungent. Um, it was very difficult to make it palatable for people. That's why in Africa, people had been using it for hundreds and hundreds of years. They were boiling it, the leaves especially, to get the stench out. So they were taught how to use it more effectively. This reversed malnutrition. Thus, the documentary comes out. Thus, someone here in the United States develops the idea of delivering this to us as a food. They created a skincare line in around 2009, 2010. It's hypoallergenic. It's been tried on all skin types. It's basically spa-level stuff at Walmart prices. There's nothing chemical in any of these items shown here. I use everything shown here. I used to be just a soap and shampoo guy, but this is excellent stuff. You can eat most everything shown here. I wouldn't recommend doing that. It wouldn't taste very good, but the one thing, whether you're into taking care of your skin or skincare, the vial on the far right here, Zija oil, is something that you definitely need to learn about. In my opinion, behind the nutritionals, this is the second most impactful product that the company has made. If you watch the documentary from the Discovery Channel, the lady in Hawaii talks about taking the oil from the tree and putting on her cut skin and her skin healing. It goes several layers deep into the dermis, builds up collagen. So it is a healer. And so this is an excellent product line to look at. But whether you're into that or not, again, I would definitely learn about the Zija oil. Just a few months ago, the company launched a Mayo essential oils, and essential oils have therapeutic and medicinal uses. What I would say about this is that we've set a new standard in this industry, and if you're someone that's into essential oils, I would certainly recommend digging in and learning about it. It's going to be, as time goes on, a bigger and bigger deal as people actually learn and figure out exactly what we're doing. A lot of people, when they say, hey, we've set a new standard, people think that you're blowing smoke, but we have literally set a new standard in this industry. And an example is right here, the amount of difference. We have a 5-step commitment to quality and purity. No one is doing what we're doing with this. Step 5 is one of the biggest deals. Any vial of the oil that you have, you can actually type in the batch number when you go to the Mayo Difference website, and it'll highlight the test performed on your specific oil. We are showing that these go into this, actually penetrate, permeate the cell, and we're also clinical grade, and we're comparing apples to apples as far as all the studies, the thousands of studies that have been done independently throughout the years on essential oils. So if you know someone that's into essential oils, I would certainly let them know that this exists. They will be interested in learning about it. And if you're not into essential oils yourself, I would encourage you to learn a little bit about them. They have, as I mentioned, therapeutic medicinal uses. There's hundreds and hundreds of uses for the oils. And it's, again, an excellent product line. We have 40-plus singles and oil blends. A little less than a year ago, Zija launched a sports fitness line called Ripsticks. And these are sports fitness supplements that are all natural and very good products. I wouldn't tell anyone they're necessary, but there's a lot of people that are pushing their bodies and they want to have some extra things that will help them get the most from their workout. And of these 4 Ripsticks, you can go to ripstickssupplements.com and watch the 1-minute video overview on each of the 4 Ripsticks. The Ignite is a pre-workout. The Fuel is like a goo that endurance athletes would use, marathon runners, Ironman competitors. It provides electrolytes and some caloric intake. You have one called Recovery, which I've used for several months now. It's an excellent Ripstick. It has branched chain amino acids for lean muscle growth. You have chlorophyll, which helps clean out damaging lactic acid buildup. You have glucosamine, which helps with healthy joint function. These are all in the ripsticks called Recovery. And the one that's the most synonymous for most people is hydrate. And hydrate is like a Gatorade without any harmful ingredients. And this slide here, showing a child related to hydrate, having a tasty ripstick that children can use that helps reduce a lot of the sugars that we're taking in is very impactful. Our job is to let people know that it exists. This is a picture of our corporate headquarters outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. Zija's been in business, as I said, since the end of 2005. It doubled in size every year up until about 2012. Obviously, the larger you get, the harder it is to double every year. We won several awards in 2014. This is showing some of the warehousing and our product development area. The picture in the bottom middle there with the cars parked outside is actually a pharmaceutical grade facility. And that's a really big deal. A lot of companies will operate several levels below that, and that's perfectly legal inside the United States. Very few companies like us are operating at pharmaceutical grade, which means basically that the protocols are much higher. And so that is a big deal. Basically, in a general statement, just understand that we control everything from the farm. We have our own plantations in India all the way to your mouth. So there's no corners cut. Everything that's humanly possible, technologically possible, is being done along the way to make sure that when you tear open that sachet of nutrition for you or your family, that you're getting everything you possibly can get from this tree. A lot of people, when they look at the business side of this, they get excited about the idea of, not having a boss anymore. I was a customer of Zija Nutrition for about 6 months. I had no interest in the business, but I saw a couple of friends that were doing it part-time, and I started to study the industry. And the thing that attracted me to network marketing was the time freedom part. I know money comes and goes, but time does not. So the ability to do something on a part-time basis and actually gain time freedom was something that was attractive to me, but I really didn't believe it at first because I'd never seen anybody really do it before. Now that I'm living it, I think that it's something that is wonderful and people should at least know about it. I will say that, most people in Zija are just customers. They have nothing to do with the business. This is not something that if you're looking at this as a guest and you're thinking, well, my friend's trying to get me into a business. No, your friend's trying to let you know about an absorbable, nutritional whole food that you need. And if you're interested in the business, it's always there for you. There's no, big fees or anything to get involved in sharing. If you decide you want to share, you can simply open your mouth and start doing that, and you have a business if you'd like to do that. But it's not something that you have to do. Great question here. Why the industry of network marketing? As you're looking at these, I will tell you that I never thought I would ever be a network marketer. Didn't really know what it was until just a few years ago. And I also have I use this example. I have a drill in my basement, and it's a real nice drill, but I really didn't want the drill. I wanted a hole. So I went and got the drill to get what I really wanted, which is a hole. I never thought I'd be a network marketer, but it gives me what I really want, which is financial and time freedom. I've been able to work this business part-time, and it's built up to where I have a residual income, which means I don't have to go clock in to be paid. I have a group of customers and a few distributors, and when their product gets shipped to their homes every month, I get a residual kickback on that, and it's a wonderful thing. Those that are in the insurance industry certainly understand residual income. So low cost of entry, you just decide what product that you want, and you're started either as a customer or a distributor. Tax breaks, we could talk about this for the next hour. When you own a home-based business, you're on the correct side of the tax code in this country where you can write off things that you cannot write off as an employee. In fact, Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book called The Business of the 21st Century. He makes a point that anyone who's just an employee of somebody, which is probably most of you on this line, it's almost foolish not to go out and enroll in a home-based business just for the tax breaks. Again, reach out to me or whoever invited you on here to get more questions answered as it relates to that. That's something that a lot of people really need to know about. Down at the bottom it says unlimited income potential. I knew as an educator that what I was basically going to make the rest of my life. In this, I have no idea. The sky's the limit. Again, I didn't get into this because I was trying to make a lot of money. I got into it for time freedom, which I've been able to ascertain. It's exciting, and I will say this as well. I've been able to do some good things in the business, but my favorite part is I get to drink the nutrition every day. My wife and my kids, that's my favorite part of the whole experience. The only thing that the company has that I would equate to any type of, kind of a hype type perk is they have a car program, a Mercedes-Benz. You don't have to get the car or the vehicle, but if you decide to, you get to the gold level in the company. You start off at $400 a month, and if you lease or buy a Mercedes, it has to be black or silver, has to be at least 5 years or newer. You get the 100% of the money. If you don't get the vehicle, they send you 50% of it anyway. So it's just really a profit pool of just extra money sent to you as you grow your business. Zija has a profit pool that this is not part of the compensation plan. It's just Mr. Brailsford and his family sharing a percentage of the company's earnings with people that have built big businesses. And as you can see, they've got the $50 million pool opened up in 2011. The next pool is set to open at $300 million. The company is about a $200 million company right now, so probably a good chance this year that the second profit pool will open and more people can join and again receive checks every 3 months based on the success of the company. Every year they give a cruise away as a perk. Next one's coming up in April. This one's already booked. There'll probably be one that will start in the middle of the year where people can earn a cruise for the following year. Again, these are just perks. The company's attitude is that they opened for business in 2012, and that's when they felt like they had everything in place for the distributors to be able to share. In other words, all the tools and the training were in place. And so if you're just looking at this, I would just tell you this is a really good time to be getting involved with this company because everything is in place for you, which means if you decide to share with people that the only excuse would be you. Everything's in place. When I got involved, everything wasn't in place, and there's only one product, and even though the product was impactful for people, it was difficult to share it because we didn't have a lot of the tools and things that are available today. There's also an app for your phone. I would encourage you to certainly get back with the person who invited you to this webinar. And before we do any questions, by the way, if you want to start typing questions, you can go to the symbol at the top of the page to the right of the phone receiver and type in questions, and I'll try to answer them verbally as they come in. But as you're thinking about questions, let me just say that Zija products are all, as I said, at the top of the food chain, but the nutrition is something that's really necessary for people. And as far as the company itself, you'll be part of something that is expanding globally, and we're in about 52 countries now around the world. And this opportunity allows you to build basically teams of people that can go out and impact hundreds into the thousands of people with not only their health, some with their finances, but also in other areas as well, because most people in this are ascending and doing well and growing themselves, and it's a very uplifting experience to be a part of. It's been an incredible blessing for my family. Let me close out by asking you, before any questions come in, I always close with 4 questions for you just to think about. The first one is why. Why should you do the things that I mentioned about taking care of yourself, the daily disciplines of hydration, sleeping correctly, exercise, and nutrition. Why should you look to maybe develop another stream of income for your family, maybe to get yourself out of debt, to help your children, maybe even your grandchildren, maybe your church? The best answer to that first why is why not? It's a great question. Why not be the best that you can be? See how high you can climb the ladder of success here in the United States. See how much you can learn, how much you can earn, how much you can give away and help other people. The next question is, why not you? If I can do it and some people on this webinar can do it, you certainly can do it. And the last question is why not now? The Chinese say the best time to plant a tree is where it was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. And got a friend down in Tennessee that's a championship girls high school basketball coach. He's on the radio in Nashville most mornings. He's written several books. His name is Michael Burt. Michael Burt wrote a book called This Ain't No Practice Life. And it's a very interesting title, but it should make us think, what are we waiting for? A lot of people will just kind of let life slap them around. They look up and they're 40, 50, 60 years old and they wonder where it went and what happened. I would just encourage you to get a grip on things as it relates to your own personal health and wellness. And also, if you want to, this would give you an opportunity to get a grip on some things related to your finances as well. First question that's popped up. Let's see if I can pull these. Here we go. Question is there any training videos that walk new distributors on enrolling customers in their back office? Team Victory used to have one, but the back office, the compensation plan and enrollment options have changed. I don't know if there's a video that walks somebody through that. What I would encourage you to do is to let your upline help you with that. In other words, if you're a new distributor, connect the person you're enrolling with someone that's already been in and done that, and let them help you walk that person through that. Because people have a variety of questions. I don't think there would be a video that would necessarily be able to touch on everything that somebody might ask as it relates to enrolling. I help people with that all the time. You can feel free to reach out to me if you like. Next question, is the nutrition safe to use while pregnant? Well, I showed you 3. I would not use XM Plus while pregnant because I wouldn't want anything for my infant from a stimulant standpoint. Now, obviously a lot of pregnant women are drinking coffee and soft drinks and other things, sweet tea, whatever. I would simply use Smart Mix or Super Mix. And so the answer to that is absolutely yes. In fact, around where I live here in Kentucky, there's lots of women that have used Super Mix or Smart Mix as a prenatal food and then given to their infants from day one. There's lots of Zija babies, some of them 5, 6 years old, running around here in this area now. Great question, and the answer is absolutely yes. Super Mix or Smart Mix. Again, they're just food. Any other questions? Next question, how long does it take, or does it typically take to feel a difference, and how long does detox last? Great question. Well, I started when I was 43, and I'm 50 now, so I've been on it for a while, and I didn't notice anything in the first month, and so I was like, I asked my wife, do you want to continue to use this? Because I didn't really know, to be honest with you, I didn't understand what it was fully at that time. And my wife had noticed some things with her bowel system and her sugar count, and she said she'd like to continue using it. Here's what I would say to people that that ask that question. This is not the fountain of youth. It's simply nutrition, which unfortunately is kind of a boring subject for people. But I use this as an example. If I was to take a plate and put a bunch of fruits and vegetables and leafy green plants just raw on that plate, and I slid it over to you every day and you ate it, is that good for you? And obviously the answer is absolutely. Well, when you do that every day for a week or a month, are you going to notice anything? And the answer probably is going to be no. If you do that over and over for years, are you going to notice anything? Well, you might notice some things. You might say, well, hey, I feel good. Well, that's noticing something, but you may not be on some pharmaceuticals or laying on the surgery table before your time. So it's really this simple. If you're not giving yourself the proper nutrition, you're going to have problems coming earlier than they need to be coming. If you don't discipline yourself and do the things that I said on the front end, something's going to come along and discipline you. So when you say how long will it take for somebody to feel a difference, it just depends. Some people are in such bad shape they feel differences very quickly. Hippocrates said many centuries ago that food is our best medicine. So when you start giving your body the correct nutrition, sure, it can impact people. The anti-inflammatories impact a lot of people the way they feel. But I will tell you personally, I don't have any kind of great testimony for you personally. I use it because I understand what it is. How long does the detox last? Well, every day that you're drinking your nutritionals, you're drinking in chlorophyll, which is from a leafy green plant. That's going to detox you as well. So you're getting detoxed on a daily basis. Should notice that your bowel system is more regular. As far as the detox tea, when you drink that at night the next day, a lot of people in the morning will notice kind of a moving experience. I don't notice it as much anymore because I'm using the chlorophyll every day, so it's not impacting me as much, and that's a lot of people's experience as well. But if you use one of the detox teas tonight and you're not using the nutritionals and using the chlorophyll daily, it's probably going to hit you pretty good the next morning. Detoxing is something that a lot of people are not doing for their bodies regularly, and that's a real problem because we're, not to get gross, but we're kind of impacting ourselves. We're not flushing our systems, and that leads to things like lethargy, chronic fatigue syndrome. A lot of people are going around and they're feeling tired and sluggish because number one, they're not hydrating enough. Number two, they're not flushing their systems regularly. People are not eating enough leafy green plants. And so, again, that's one of the things that this is so impactful with is helping flush people's systems. So I hope that helps a little bit. Next question, what makes Zija Moringa better than other brands of Moringa? Well, we're the first company to market it to the world, and there are several steps along the way. This is a kind of a loaded question as far as how deep we can go, but some things that separate it. First of all, we control it from the ground to your mouth. So what that means is that a lot of health food stores and places that are selling moringa, it might say it comes from China, it might say it comes from India. You don't know all the processes that went into the harvesting and the growing, or the growing and the harvesting of those leaves. A lot of people sell leaf powder or seeds. And so what can be the differences? Well, there's about 60 varieties of moringa growing around the world. They have varying degrees of efficacy, which means the levels of nutrition that they offer. We're growing the most efficacious varietal of the tree, so you're getting a consistently harvested tree over and over again. Also, the soil and the climate impacts the nutritional values greatly. That's why we have vetted areas that are in the best climatic situations for the trees. The leaf powder. A lot of people will sell leaf powder that's been sun-dried. That's okay, but a better way is to have it shade-dried. If it's shade-dried, the UV rays don't cross-link vitamins and minerals, making them less effective. That's a more expensive process. It's more timely, but it makes it more effective. As far as what we're delivering, some people will sell leaf powder, some people will sell seeds. Zija has a proprietary blend of the leaves, the seeds, and the fruit, which the combination of those three is making sure that we're getting the most that we possibly can get nutritionally from the tree. So basically, you could say that what we're delivering compared to other things that are sold, other brands of moringa, you could have some, if ours is say a 10 on a 10 scale, you could have some that are 6s or 7s, all the way down to some that are zeros to one as far as their effectiveness, because again, you don't know where they came from, how they were harvested. The things that impact the nutritional delivery of moringa are no different than the things that impact the delivery of nutrition for your family when you go to the grocery. If I go to the grocery today and I buy an orange, it may come from California. 2 weeks from now, I may go to the grocery and buy an orange. It may come from Florida. The nutritional content in that orange may vary greatly because of how much time, the soil it was grown in, the climatic situations. All those things impact the amount of nutrition that my family gets from that orange when I bring it home and eat it. Same thing with moringa. You want to make sure that the processes are known from start to finish. And we're also, besides being pharmaceutical grade, which is a big, big deal, we go through a certification process called NSF, which basically makes sure that all the claims that we're making as far as what's in our products are verified by a third-party source. So hope that helps answer that a little bit. We could go a lot deeper into that, but we don't have the time. Any other questions? Again, I appreciate everybody's attention today. Thanks for getting on, and I hope everybody has a blessed weekend. Please reach out to the person that invited you if you have other questions, and I'm certainly available to help anyone that needs my assistance. If you got something to write with, my cell number is 270-304-8810. Take care.